This screencast is to help you for the upcoming lessons to teach Excel to your students. In this Excel lesson, you'll be creating bar graphs using information from Singapore math books or from data gathered in the classroom. To open up the Excel program, you can go to the shortcut by double-clicking left on your desktop, or you can go down to the Start menu here and left-click once. It will bring up the menu. Go to All Programs, click on Microsoft Office, and you can open up Excel through that path. We're going to open it up through the shortcut on the desktop, so we're going to left double-click on Excel, and it's going to bring up a new worksheet. The vocabulary that you want to go over with your students in this lesson are open, close, save, worksheet, cell, name box, entry bar, chart tools, design ribbon, and layout. Obviously, we just opened an Excel document, so that would be opening. To close an Excel spreadsheet, you would left click and go down to Close or Exit Excel. To save an Excel worksheet, the first time you would have to save as, and that would allow you to save it to the correct location. So we would go up to, again, this Microsoft icon to the menu, left click on Save As, and it will bring up a box here. Left click on Computer, and that will bring you to the locations on the computer which you can choose from. Your students will save in the H drive, as well as you can save in the H drive because that's where all your files are kept. Here you would name the file, and then you would save it. The next vocabulary word that we would work on is worksheet, and that's what a basic Excel document is called. Your worksheet is made up of numerous cells, here's one highlighted there, that are labeled by using a coordinate system of alphabet and numerical values. So this one that's highlighted right now is A1. If we move to another cell by just left clicking once on it, B4 is now highlighted. I can click over here. G14 is now highlighted, and you can see the coordinates will highlight as you click on different cells. And again, I left clicked once on a cell to highlight it. We're going to go ahead and work with A1 since it's our first cell in this worksheet. The next vocabulary word or words that you'll be working with your students are the name box and the entry bar. The name box can be found right here. I'm moving my mouse around it, and that will show the coordinate of the cell that you're working with. The entry bar, found right here, also known as the formula bar, is where you're typing in your data. I'm going to use some fictitious data here to create a bar graph for you, but again, you can open up your Singapore book and use any of the information in there or your own data as well. To put in data into this worksheet, I need to first left click in the entry bar. And again, we can see that it's A1 that we're typing into. And I'm going to go ahead and title this math. To get to the next cell below, there's a number of different ways I can get there. I can press enter and it will bring me down one. I can use the arrows, the arrow keys on my keyboard, or I can click inside of A2. And now I'm going to title this a different subject, such as science, and I'm going to press enter. It's going to bring me down to A3, and I'm going to enter in a different title, a different subject. Let's pick grammar here. And then finally I'll press enter and pick one more subject. Let's do reading. So you can see I now have columns A1 through A4 titled with information. The information again was added here in my entry bar. Now I need to add some numerical values to further create my bar graph. I'm going to go ahead and click in this column to the right of A, which is B, and now B1 is highlighted, and you can see that through this name box here. I'm going to put a value in here. I'm going to label 9. Then to get to the next below B1 to B2, I'm going to press enter. And again, I'm going to put in another numerical value here, 20. To get to the next, I'm going to press enter again. Okay, and I'm going to put in some more information. Let's put in 2, and then enter again. Will bring me down to B4, where I can put in some more information. Let's do 12. All my data is now entered into my worksheet. I've used cells A1 through A4 as my subjects. I've used cells B1 through B4 with my numerical values. To next create my bar graph, I have to highlight the information that I want to use inside my graph. So I'm going to go ahead and move my mouse to A1, and I'm going to left click and hold, and then drag my mouse over to B4, and you can see now that all of my information is highlighted, and now I can let go of my mouse. I'm going to next bring my mouse up to this toolbar, and the toolbar along the top of this Excel worksheet here, and I'm going to click left once on insert, and it's going to show me the different types of graphs that I can use here. The most common one that we're using in our Singapore workbooks is column graphs. So I'm going to go ahead and left click once, and it's going to bring a pull down menu here, and it shows a number of different column graphs that I could use. You can see here is a 3D, cylinder, cone, pyramid, but we're just going to use the most traditional column graph here, this 2D flat, very basic graph that's going to display your information in a very simple way. So we're going to left click once on this icon here that I'm moving my mouse around on, and it's going to automatically form a chart here, or a graph here for your students, full of the information that we had inputted into our Excel worksheet. The final thing that you're going to do with your students in this lesson is manipulate it so that they can individualize their graphs the way that they want it to look. So again, I'm going to move my mouse up here, and you can see that in this toolbar here, Designs is already highlighted, and that's one of the chart tools that we're going to work with is Designs. They can pick their own color, so we can change it to green, we can change it to orange by just left clicking once, and then we can change the chart layout. So that's the way it looks, and if you watch my mouse, I'm going to move over to chart layouts, and here we go. It can put in a title by clicking on this one. We can change the look of it by further clicking, change it again. There's numerous different selections, as you can see in this pull down menu here. I'm going to pick the most basic one. It's the one that the students will be most familiar with. So I'm going to go ahead and left click on this leftmost picture here. But we're not done yet. The final way we can manipulate our graph is found on the toolbar under Layout. And I'm going to left click once on Layout, and it's going to bring up another bunch of options for us. I'm going to move my mouse over here to Chart Title, and I'm going to left click, and it's going to give me some options. I can get rid of my title, although we want the students to have a title. So we're going to go ahead and pick here. We can center it. We can have it above the chart. I'm just going to go ahead and center it. It's the most traditional look, and I'm going to left click on that once. And you can see that it's now highlighted, which means I can change the title of it. So I'm going to go ahead and click up here in my entry bar, and I'm going to title my graph. And my information right now is showing the number of students that like certain subjects is what I am creating here. So I'm going to do students favorite subjects, or subject. And you can see here it's titled in my entry bar. And if I press enter, it's going to change the title to what I had imported. There we go. It's changed. I'm not quite done yet because I need to label my axes now, because right now I have some words here and I have some numbers here, but it's not specific enough. So we're going to go and move our mouse back up to this toolbar here and left click on axes title. Oops, with left once. We're going to go ahead and horizontal, and we're going to left click on title axis, or title below axis. And we're going to title this, and this is subjects. And again, if you can see, I'm typing here in my entry bar, but when I press enter, it's going to change my axes title. Then I'm going to go ahead and change my numerical axes title by going here to the vertical axes. I'm going to go ahead and you can choose a number of different styles. I'm just going to do a traditional rotated title, and I'm going to left click once on that. And now I need to change this title. So I click in my entry bar, left click once, and I change this to number of students. By pressing enter, it's going to go ahead and change my axes title. My graph is now finished for the most part. The students can go ahead and play around with other options. If you look up here, they can really click on any of these options up here and change the way it looks. It depends how specific you want to be with them on what you would like them to do. If you don't want them to look too fancy, you may just want to keep it to the basics. But again, Thursday of your Monday through Friday lessons is a day for them to play around with Excel, and they can look into all these different options. Remind them that anything can be erased or gone back a step by clicking on this arrow up here. This is your back arrow, and if you left click once, it will undo what you had just done. So if you left click there, it will take away what they just did. So if they think they messed something up, or they just did something that they didn't want to happen, they can go ahead and left click there once, and that will change to go one step earlier. Again, I would need to resave this, but this time I don't need to save as. I can go ahead and left click here on the Microsoft icon, which pulls down the menu, and I can click save, and that time it will just save it to the original location. The final step is to close and exit, so I can either close here or I can exit. Another way to do that is left clicking on this X up here, and then you're completely finished with the entire project unless you'd like to print. I hope that helped you understand the basics of Excel, and I hope that this is a fun lesson for all of your students and yourself.